So it's been a while since I last made content about Sun, and I'm sure you know that he got nerfed in the latest patch. His physical attack and HP growth were reduced. So in this game, I tried to see if he's still strong. I played in the EXP lane, and my matchup was Phoveus, which I think is a disadvantage for Sun in the early game. I mean, Sun is at a disadvantage against almost all meta heroes in the EXP lane early on. His power spike really comes in the mid to late game. I've been observing the builds of top global Sun users, and Thunderbelt is no longer a must-have item for him. I think I've seen more players not building Thunderbelt at all. You can even check for yourself. The items that are always present in every build are Windtalker and Corrosion Scythe. In all the builds I've looked at, those two items are always included. Anyway, I just want to ask if you guys have been experiencing lag in your recent Mobile Legends games. I mean, I can't play properly anymore because of the heavy lag and high ping. Aside from the lag when screen recording, my phone also seems to freeze while playing. Has anyone else experienced sudden ping spikes, or is it just me? So here, Phoveus is cutting the lane. My advice when your opponent is cutting the lane is to never just let them do it freely. If you can, try to chip away at their HP to make them hesitate and think twice about disturbing your jungler. But in this case, I didn't have much damage yet, and his sustain was strong, so I was only able to deal a little damage. I actually ended up losing more HP than him, but at least he followed the lane instead of roaming around and causing trouble in other lanes. That's still a good thing since it bought some time to keep him occupied. Then, he kind of overstayed here, and Ling arrived as well. He'll be able to escape temporarily using his flicker, but I'm still going to chase him down since he has no other escape skills left, and I still have my Petrify. He ended up getting first-blooded, which was a big deal since the turtle is already available. That meant he couldn't join the turtle fight. Well, it seemed like his team just let it happen and relied on their jungler to pull off a miracle retribution steal. And of course, I wasn't going to let that happen. I was there to zone him out. His retribution didn't even reach the turtle, so he ended up using it on me instead. Then he made mistake overstaying without his second skill, leaving him with no escape options. You probably already know that in the current meta, it's really hard to carry the game as just an EXP laner. Moonton has given so much love to junglers and gold laners. I know a lot of you will agree because most of the meta picks right now are either junglers or gold laners. They farm and build items so fast. Plus, the meta in the EXP lane is mostly tanky heroes, so if you're playing a damage-based hero, you'll really struggle against your matchup. But if you use tanky heroes, you'll have to rely on your teammates. There's no way you can carry them alone, especially if both your jungler and marksman are bad. If that happens, there's really nothing you can do. Better luck next game. On the other hand, if you play a damage hero in the EXP lane, you can carry the game, but you'll be at a disadvantage against your lane opponent. Unless, of course, your mastery of the hero is much higher than theirs. But this is solo rank, except for games where you have a duo or trio, which actually happens more often than having a full solo team. So whatever hero you use in the EXP lane, as long as it's not trash and can keep up with the meta heroes, it's fine. There's barely any difference unless your enemies are really strong. That's when you'll really notice the gap between meta and non-meta heroes, especially if the hero you're using isn't one of your mains or you don't have high mastery with it. As an EXP laner, your role isn't always to 1v1 your lane opponent. That's why when picking a hero, it's better to think about countering the enemy gold laner or jungler rather than just focusing on the EXP lane matchup. For example, if the enemy core and gold laner rely on dash or blink skills, picking Minsathar is a great choice. But if only one enemy hero has a dash and it's just the enemy EXP laner like Arlott or Benedetta, then Minsathar becomes a bad pick because he is not in the meta and you can only pick him to counter enemy heroes. You have to consider the entire enemy lineup when choosing counter heroes, and countering the enemy EXP laner should be your least priority. Because even if you win your matchup in the EXP lane, if you struggle to kill the enemy jungler and gold laner, your team will still have a hard time winning. The EXP lane feels like the least important role right now. Honestly, even if you feed 10 times, as long as your marksman and jungler are strong, your team probably won't even feel it. But if it's the jungler or gold laner feeding 10 times, that's a completely different story, right? Just to be clear, I'm not saying the EXP lane isn't important. It's just that, compared to other roles, especially in solo rank, it's really hard to carry the game. You'll always have to rely on your teammates and hope that at least one of your gold laner or jungler is strong. But if you're using damage heroes like Sun, you might still be able to carry, even if your teammates aren't great. I mean, he can 1v1 against 3 enemies because, technically, he becomes 3 as well.
Mountains rise, rivers flow. This is the way.
Double trouble! Turret is under attack. Unstable. Killing spree.
In this game, we were really at a disadvantage, especially my teammates. If you look at the score, I had 100% teamfight participation, which means my teammates could only get kills when I was around. If I were using a tanky hero, I don't think I could carry like this because the role of a tanky EXP laner is more about enabling teammates, supporting them and making their game easier. But let's be real, if a player is bad, they're just bad. Only a few players can actually improve and get stronger as the game goes on. My teammates were actually good in this game, I'm not discrediting them. We can win no matter what hero I used. But it just feels different when you're playing a damage hero and can carry yourself without relying too much on your team. I swear, being an EXP laner in the current meta is really tough.
Good stuff.
Comment down below if you're an EXP laner and how you feel about the current meta. Which heroes do you use and who do you think can carry without relying too much on teammates? Every time I play 9 out of 10 games, the EXP lane is available because almost no one wants to play it. Other players feel the same way. That's why when you're a solo player, you'll usually see people picking gold lane or jungle. They want to be the main character of the game.
You destroyed a turret. Your team destroyed a turret. Monster kill.
I'm everywhere.
So after that team fight, we immediately secured the Lord, and we only needed 1 Lord to finish the game. Our marksman and jungler were strong, so it was really an easy game. So you probably noticed that our lineup had no real front line, while the enemy team only had Phoveus. And I'm telling you, no matter how good a Phoveus player is, he'll never be able to solo carry his teammates. This was almost a perfect game for me, but when I dived Zask under the turret, I almost died. Luckily, the game ended just in time.